Stop. If you bought an Intel laptop in 2020, you bought a lie. Your hardware is now a relic of a lazy era. Remember 2019? Laptops were jet engines. You couldn't open a browser without the fan screaming and your lap burning. The industry was hitting a wall. Intel had a monopoly. They gave us 5% performance gains year after year because they knew we had nowhere else to go. They were fat, happy, and dangerously slow. But in Cupertino, a secret war was being planned. Apple had been building their own mobile chips for a decade. They knew the secret to efficiency, and it was time to move it to the Mac. November 2020. The world was locked down, and Tim Cook walked onto a stage to announce something that the experts said was impossible: the M1 chip. It wasn't just a CPU, it was a system on a chip. CPU, GPU, and memory all fused into one, a unified architecture designed for one thing: domination. The industry laughed. A mobile chip in a professional laptop? Good luck with that. They thought Apple was making a toy. They were about to witness a massacre. Then the reviews hit. The cheapest $999 MacBook Air was crushing $3,500 professional machines. It wasn't just faster, it was twice as fast, and it did it while staying stone cold. Apple did the unthinkable. They deleted the fan from the air. Silence became the new luxury. No more jet engines, just raw, silent power. And then there was the battery. 15, 18, 20 hours. For the first time, you could leave your charger at home and actually finish your workday. The power brick became optional. The secret was ARM. While Intel's x86 was like a massive gas-guzzling semi-truck, Apple's ARM architecture was a Tesla: lean, efficient, and instantly fast. But what about the apps? Rosetta 2 was the miracle. It translated old software so fast that your old apps ran better on M1 than they ever did on Intel. The transition was seamless. Developers didn't just support it, they pounced on it. Within months, every major pro app was native. The ecosystem wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Back at Intel, the panic was real. They scrambled to launch benchmarks to prove they were still relevant. Nobody believed them. Their stock started to leak billions. This wasn't just about laptops, it was a transfer of wealth. Investors saw the writing on the wall. Apple owned the technology, the factory, and the customer. Intel owned a legacy. Dell and HP tried to respond. They added more cores and more power, but they couldn't solve the heat. They were fighting a 21st century war with 20th century tools. The lesson for your portfolio? Vertical integration is the ultimate weapon. When you control the atom and the bit, you control the margin. Apple's margins became the envy of the world. And then there was unified memory. By putting the RAM right on the chip, Apple eliminated the bottleneck. 8 gigs on an M1 felt like 16 on a PC. It was a cheat code. This made the walled garden taller. Your iPhone apps could now run on your Mac. The synergy was perfect. If you were an Apple user, there was no longer any reason to look elsewhere. Then came the M1 Pro and Max. These weren't for browsing, they were for building. They demolished workstations that cost 3 times as much. Hollywood took notice. In the laptop space, the discrete GPU was suddenly under fire. Why carry a heavy, power-hungry card when the chip in your laptop could do it all? NVIDIA and AMD had a problem. The markets reacted. Capital flowed out of legacy silicon and into the innovators. Apple wasn't just a phone company anymore. They were the premier semiconductor design house. Think about the lifestyle change. You could work from a cafe, a plane, or a park without hunting for an outlet. Freedom became part of the brand. PC owners were still tethered. The thermal maps didn't lie. While the PC was a space heater, the Mac was a breeze. This wasn't just comfort, it was longevity. Heat kills electronics. Apple solved it. But here's the harsh truth. By being so good, Apple created a trap for the competition. To compete, they had to rebuild everything. And rebuilding takes years. Years they didn't have. Microsoft tried ARM with Windows, but the software wasn't ready. It was buggy, slow, and lacked apps. It only highlighted how much further ahead Apple really was. Just as the industry started to breathe, M2 arrived, then M3, then M4, each one widening the gap. This wasn't a one-hit wonder, it was a roadmap of destruction. Consumer confidence in generic laptops plummeted. People would rather buy a 2-year-old M1 Mac than a brand new Intel PC. The resale value of Macs became a financial asset. In investing, we talk about moats. Apple didn't just dig a moat, they built a fortress with laser turrets. Their switch to custom silicon is one of the greatest business moves in history. The enterprise world followed. Companies realized that Macs lasted longer, needed less support, and kept employees happier. The TCO, total cost of ownership, flipped in Apple's favor. Don't think NVIDIA is safe either. As Apple's neural engine and GPU performance climbs, the need for external cards for AI and video shrinks. The battle lines are moving. Apple's relationship with TSMC is the final nail. They get the newest, smallest, most efficient process nodes first. Everyone else is fighting for the scraps of the past. The M-series chips are mobile chips at heart. That means your phone and your computer are now essentially the same thing. One ecosystem, one architecture, absolute control. Now, Qualcomm is trying to fight back with Snapdragon X Elite. It's the first real threat in years. But can they overcome decades of Windows legacy? The jury is still out. Hardware is only half the battle. Software is the other. Until Windows is as optimized for ARM as macOS, Apple will remain the king of efficiency, and Microsoft is slow. The global tech map has shifted. The center of gravity moved from the Silicon Valley of the 90s to the vertically integrated empire of today. The era of the component maker is ending. What's next? AI. And who has the best integrated AI hardware in every consumer's pocket and on every pro's desk? You already know the answer. Apple is ready for the next pounce. As an investor, you have to ask, who owns the future? Is it the one making parts or the one making the whole? The M1 told us the answer. The market just took time to listen. At the end of the day, it's about the tool. A tool that doesn't get in your way. A tool that doesn't burn you or scream at you. Apple understood the human element. Intel forgot it. The M1 broke the industry, it broke the thermal wall, it broke the performance ceiling, and it broke the old way of thinking about what a computer can be. The verdict? Don't bet against vertical integration, don't bet on complacency, and never underestimate a company that is willing to burn its own bridges to build a better one. This is how you pounce on the future, by seeing the shockwave before it hits the shore, by understanding the silicon that powers the world. Are you still waiting for Intel to catch up, or are you going to pounce? Hit subscribe if you're ready to win the tech war. I'll see you in the future. The laptop industry will never be the same, and neither should your portfolio. Stay sharp, stay cold, pounce. Seriously, stop buying Intel. It's embarrassing. Goodbye.